Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is the start of 2025. If you missed it, I did put up my yearly setup for 2025, which was very simple but something that's really going to work for me for the new year. I'm so excited for the new year and for new things that I have planned and new themes and basically just a whole year of new themes coming your way, and we're starting off strong with January. So I was a little bit stuck on what I wanted to do for January originally, and my plan was to continue the theme that I did for my yearly setup. So I was dead set on doing different picture frames and things like that, kind of like my yearly setup, but I was going to go into much more detail and have bigger frames and have more like detailed scenes and pictures and scenescapes and things like that inside the frames, which I think still would have been really cool. And I might leave it, I'm gonna store it in my brain for another time, and I might use it. You never know. But then I didn't end up getting to see my family until January, and it was also the time my sister got married, so it was a big family time at the beginning of January, beginning of the new year, which is also why these videos are kind of up later than I would like. But again, we should be back on track for February. But I chose cabins, specifically like wintry cabins, because it is still January, so it is technically winter. We've had like a few cold days here in Texas, nothing actually wintry. There was a chance of snow and ice, and then it just rained all day, so it's just a little cold, but then it's going back to the 50s and 60s like in a couple days, so it's really not very wintry. So I wanted it to feel wintry in my journal, but I chose cabins because that is actually where we stayed while we went home. We stayed at a cabin and it was so cozy. We took the dogs with us, the whole family was there. We saw both families for Christmas, and my sister got married, and so it was really magical, and that's why I decided to do the cabins. I think it's just very cozy and wintry. I added, a bunch of evergreen trees around it to give it that winter forest feel, and I added snow to the trees, snow to the top of the roofs, and ultimately it just made it very wintry. So it's very cute. We have different variations of cabins. Also, if you see some like weird reflection on the side, I was using a like lid for my paint. I don't have any paint palettes. I have a lot of stuff still packed that I need to unpack, and so I was using, those throwaway casserole dishes that you like bust out around Thanksgiving so that you don't have to wash a ton of dishes, and then they have like the clear plastic covers. I was using the clear plastic cover because that's all I could find. I don't even have paper plates. I try not to keep them in the house, but anyway, so that's what we were using, and it was causing this weird reflection with my light setup. And anyway, the medium I chose for January was watercolors. I liked the feel that it gave. I don't know how to describe it. It just made it look cozy, kind of rainy and snowy. And watercolors just always look good. Like, even if you mess it up, quote unquote, it still looks good because it's watercolor. I don't know how to describe that, but if anyone else uses watercolor and you feel the same way, please let me know, because that's how I feel. Like, even if I feel like it doesn't turn out like I was planning, I'm like, it still looks good. It's watercolor. It's supposed to look like that. So anyway, that's what I did in my brain. And then everything else I kept really simple. So we have different cabins with different, trees and scenes around it for each page. And then everything else is just clean lines, my black Sharpie fine liner, which I will use forever and ever, and like a scripty font, but it's very spread out and kind of drawn out. I like it. Also, for the cover page, I think I should mention that below the cabin, it's supposed to be water. I think in the end, the colors were the colors that I was referencing, but I think because of the colors that I chose, it could also look like grass. But I'm fine with either. If you think it looks like grass, we'll call it grass. But if you kind of think, you know what, it looks like water. I tried to add reflections and you know, shadows into the water, and then I added the tall grass around it. So anyway, it was supposed to be on stilts and water, but if it looks like grass, then we'll say it's grass and we will call it good. Oh, by the way, I feel like I should mention these cabins. I referenced a ton of just different Pinterest pictures and kind of combined them all, made my own, used some A-frames and frames of cabins, and then mishmashed with others. Anyway, it was a collaborative effort, but hopefully I should be putting up on the screen like all the different photos that I referenced and then just kind of made it my own from there. All the scenes I'm adding in some like blue kind of snowy looking sky around it, just something simple to tie in both pages. But we've just done our calendar spread. That was our January best spread. I'm gonna write the best thing about each day, which I have been keeping up with. You guys would be so proud of me. And then moving on to the last spread of this video, we have our weekly spread. So I did do a Dutch door. I did a ton of Dutch doors in 2024, and I told myself that I wasn't going to do as many this year. I need to like give myself a limit, like maybe 2 or 3 months I can do Dutch doors. I love them. I think I love them because I can focus on making a really pretty scenescape like I'm doing here with this tiny cute little A-frame cabin and forest around it, and then I don't have to worry about painting anything else. And then I still have my weeks already done. They're ready to go. It sounds kind of lazy of me, but sometimes if you're painting for hours on end, you just want to have a nice little Dutch door. But next month I already have the theme picked out, which is going to be super cute, you guys. I'm so proud of this theme that's coming out in February. It's going to be so cute. And I promise you I will not do a Dutch door for my weekly spreads, but I love them. So honestly, that's what matters, right? But we're finishing things up. I loved this little A-frame cabin. We're adding trees around. We're gonna add the snow. And then I remembered that, oh yeah, if there's snow on the trees, there should be snow on the roof. So I go back and I add some snow on the roof. And I don't know, I think overall I'm very happy with it. I will say, moving on to the days of the week and things like that, you already know I messed up. So me and numbering the days of the week and calendars and things, it doesn't matter how many times I check and reference the calendar, you guys, I'm gonna mess it up. So again, we're going in with this really drawn out scripty font. I love this stuff. It's almost like my normal handwriting, just quickly that I write with. But I do mess up the days. I was looking at Sunday because I think the issue is I start my calendars on Sundays because I have to have my calendar in a Sunday through Saturday format, but then I have to have my weekly spreads in a Monday through Friday, then the weekend setup, because that's how it keeps consistent throughout the weeks. And so it just throws me for a loop every time, but I do go back and fix it with some trusty white paint. I cover up the white paint on the numbers, and then I let it dry. And then for some reason my camera cut out, but it was literally just tedious work anyway. I went back in with some watercolor in the same color as the trees. I added that on top of the white paint, and it honestly kind of gave it some color and made it a little less simple up at the top, so I wasn't super mad about it. And then I tried to go over it in the fine liner. This is me going back and looking at the calendar and realizing you did it again. So, but it's fine. It's fine. So like I said, I tried to go back in with my fine liner and write the correct numbers on top of the days, on top of where I painted, but it wasn't quite working right. So if you see some funky looking numbers, I took the thinnest paintbrush that I had and did it in black paint. Here I'm using a fine liner because I hadn't messed up yet here. Anyway, we are coming up to the final flip through for this month of January, a cozy cabin wintry theme. As always, thank you so much for being here. I'm very excited for February's theme as per usual, and I hope to see you guys next month. Bye!